monster. Hey people, it's your half-assed reporter, the guy on the bike, James Kalm, and today we're on the Lower East Side and we're gonna try to pop into some galleries and see what's happening. We're gonna start out here at James Cohan, and we're gonna look at an exhibition by Trenton Doyle Hancock titled Pentameter. Well, it's a cold Sunday morning. I was in town to do an interview with another artist, and I decided I would drift around and see what else was happening down here. And I happened to stick my head in here, James Cohan, and I thought this was some pretty interesting paintings, so we're going to start our little tour looking at some of these. This is titled The She-Wolf Among Them Fed Undam's Conundrum, 2016. Okay. Well, titles are a little overwrought, but I thought the paintings were interesting. And first of all, this one is acrylic and mixed media on canvas, 72 by 108, so that's a good size painting. Also, Trenton has got a lot of things that he's added on here, look like game pieces and caps for spray paint. And I like the rawness and the urgency of the work. This is titled Becoming the Toy Maker, Phase 5 of 41. And again, we've got a whole lot of these colorful, round plastic objects. It's like the cap of a Skippy peanut butter jar. Little chess pieces. And I like the way Trenton is collaging on other pieces of canvas and various materials. This is an impressive piece. This is titled Split Per Tonality, and I've been talking a lot about paintings with text in recently, and well, that varies everything from kind of tiny little snippets of found text that Leslie Roberts is using to song lyrics like Eric Dembrisian is using, and well, some of this almost makes me think of graffiti. But Trenton is doing a nice job of kind of pulling, twisting, distorting the text and making it fit into the compositions. And like I said, I like what he's doing with the collages. This is acrylic and mixed media on canvas, also 72 by 108. And I love his intense colors. Now these little panels up here look like they're covered with felt or some kind of fabric. And that makes me think of some of Frank Stella's work from the mid-70s, where he was using the bright colors of felt. This is titled, another major painting, The Coronation, 90 by 132 inches. We've got his little title there at the top. It looks like painted foam core that's been cut out. And here he's kind of selected a bunch of these plastic things that are all analogously colored. Got the yellows and greens. And I like the very kind of rugged approach. There's a lot of collaging canvas and paper. He's painted things and cut them out. And, sometimes I refer to people as having a feel for the materials. And I think Trenton's got a nice kind of feel for this, for the cotton duck. He's got little gashes here and layers of collage elements. This is nice. When they found me, I wasn't there. Acrylic and mixed media on canvas, 72 by 72. This is interesting because he's got a very toned down palette. Just black and whites and grays, and then these shots of red. But you get to see some of Trenton's more articulate paintings. He's kind of glued a lot of smaller paintings on here to form a background. And I like the way that this is done because it makes me think of like something you would see in an overworked sketchbook. Yeah, there's a lot of layers of collage going on there. When they found me, I wasn't there. Let's make a run through the back room. He's a very accomplished draftsperson. This looks like graphite on paper. Wars and Rumors of War, 18 by 24. The gray remains of a friendship scarred. And that is all collaged. Wars and Rumors of Wars, 72 by 72. And, this one, he's got the entire surface is covered with those caps. I also think that, I sometimes look at acrylic painting and think that it looks kind of plasticky, which is not one of its qualities that I appreciate, but I think that Trenton is one of the people that I know that's using acrylic in a very nice and dry and urgent way, and it's great. You can see the great subtleties that he's getting with these tones of red from maroons to vermilion to magentas. And so he's got not only a feel for the canvas and the grounds, but he's got a great feel for the paint as well. This has been Trenton Doyle Hancock, Pentameter. Here, James Cohan, 201 Grand Street, New York, on the Lower East Side. We're gonna move on. We're gonna try to run up to Gavin Brown's Enterprise and hello. Good. We're gonna look at an exhibition by Rob Pruitt. What's the title of the show? It's The Obama Paintings. Well, I just talked to the people at the reception desk, and all they could offer me was this very brief press release. It says, Rob Pruitt, The Obama Paintings. Since Obama's inauguration, it should say President Obama's inauguration, on January 20th, 2009, Rob Pruitt has created a 2x2 foot painting of the president every day with the imagery drawn from the news of that day. Upon completion, the Obama paintings will be comprised of 2,922 paintings. And I guess that means that this particular project has still got about 62 or 3 days left. Now, they didn't have any information to tell me whether or not these are acrylic, oil, but we kind of looked at them and realized that as the background is spray painted, maybe they start out with a flat gray, and then he's spraying in a little kind of rusty red and grayed out blue. And oh geez, is that the president with, who is that? George Soros? The ambassador to China? Who knows? You know, in certain ways, this kind of makes me think of that movie Boyhood that came out a couple of years ago, where they actually follow the development of a young actor who's playing a boy for about 20 years. And so these would be, I guess, a real documentation, saying that each one of these, he's picked a photograph, and I guess he's probably projecting it onto these canvases and then making these little brushy paintings. That's kind of nice. You get a little highlight on the president's face. I think in certain ways that probably the most impressive part of this project, oh, there's the beer summit. The most impressive part of this would simply be the massive number and the installation. Well, we'll be putting these all into storage soon. We can start on our next project. We'll start out with the 4 years of the Trump presidency. So if these are each 24 inches square, and we probably got maybe 12-foot ceilings. Let's go up almost to the ceiling. Oh, and there's the Dalai Lama. I was also thinking that as these paintings are kind of gray and indistinct, it almost is like this era, this part of history is fading into the past. And I think the other thing that attracts me is that okay, let's look at what we've got here. Because each one of these is numbered, and so I got a little label in there: Rob Pruitt, Obama, 2009 to 2017. Okay. RP 1123.0247. So they've all got codes on them, and I spoke with the receptionist, and I asked her whether this was all considered one piece or whether these pieces would be sold individually, and she said that this was all considered one piece. And so that's actually a pretty big commitment. The other thing I was thinking is that although Rob says that he painted one of these every day for 8 years, Rob is a well-known jokester, and not to say that he didn't do that, but it would not be impossible for him to have had a crew of people knock these out in the last month or two or three, and simply say that you painted one of them every day. I don't know how you would go about documenting each one of these over an 8-year period, but there's nothing to say that you couldn't fake that up. And Rob is a well-known jokester. I know that I guess a year or so ago he had a book signing in which he appeared naked at the bookstore and signed his books in the nude. And I think the other thing is that I guess no one would dispute the fact that most of these are not what you would call high quality paintings. And in many ways, a lot of Rob's work deals with that whole question of quantity versus quality. But as a witty critic once said, there is an unusual quality to quantity, and so I guess you would say that would be the great quality here. Anyway, we're gonna move on. So we're gonna drift into the LMAK Gallery. We're gonna run up to the 3rd floor and look at an exhibition by David Kramer titled Hooking Up with David. Okay, we creep up to the top floor. Well, I bumped into David at an opening just a couple of nights ago in Bushwick, and he suggested that I come down and view the show. Oh, yeah, I talked about doing the video, although I always have a problem with doing video on video. This is actually an interesting kind of installation that David's been doing for years. I've often seen him do pieces with his liquor bottles. Oh, David is talking about his hooking.
All right, we ready? And now I'm going to show you the color blue. Blue's a really good color to be hook rugging with. Right now I'm concentrating on the background, but the foreground's where the action is. I'm going to make this dude's hair.
Okay.
He's in a serious conversation with his lady friend. Some things are just
Okay, so Dave is kind of
Once I figured out about this,
giving us a social critique here. This is dealing with the middle class male whose energies have been subverted into creating something. It's like this is not war, this is not adversarial, this is kind of crafty and comforting, and yeah, anybody can go out shooting tiger. Okay, so yes, I guess this is probably a statement about this current condition of the American male. Like you said, you don't have to go out and shoot the leopard if you can make a hook rug version of it. I've been a fan of David's work for years. You can go back in the Kalm files, the Kalm report files, and see other things. And I think it's very fitting that we're presenting David along with somebody like Rob Pruitt on today's tour, because there is a kind of jokey, you could call it a subversive conceptualism that's been going on recently, and David might be one of the more interesting proponents of it, and he's a longtime resident and part of the Williamsburg art scene, so I like what David's been doing. So this has been Hooking Up with Dave Kramer at LMAK Gallery, 296 Grand Street. Thank you, Kate. Howlin' Wolf.